Hey, Tariq, the Rochester Amerks underwent a sort of a do-over, I guess, that they hired themselves a new coach, and with all the things that are being, said in relation to it, Seth Appert's the new guy. What do you think this means for the local hockey team?
I think it means exactly one word, and Duffy will back me up on this. Now, normally I don't listen to and watch press conferences, but this word kept coming up, and it's called development. I kept hearing it over and over and over again. And what this means for the Buffalo Sabres and for the Amerks is this is going to take some time. They're going to sort of evaluate, bring in a lot of young, new talent. I'm not sure if it's going to be a destination spot for veterans. I don't want to speak for the Amerks or the Sabres, but he was talking more about development, first job, learning the players, recruiting from the area. I don't mind the first hire. I just know that going forward, this is going to take some time. The last couple of years, Chris Taylor did a great job winning for the Amerks. But when I kept hearing the word development so much, Duffy, you could back me up. This means they're trying to build a culture young and grow it from there.
Yeah, so there are three things here that stick out with the hiring of, I don't know if it's Appert or Appert. I've heard it both ways. But okay, first of all, to Tariq's point, in the last 10 years, the Sabres and Amerks have had this swing, right? Like you went from coaches that they were looking to win games to development coaches, right? Like you went from your Randy Cunnyworths to your guys that were coming out of the development programs, now to Chris Taylor, who's a legitimate coach, who's going to be an NHL coach one day, back here to Appert, right? Like, I mean, you look at Appert's record as a coach. He was a coach for, I believe, 11 seasons at RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. They had 4 seasons over 500. Then he ends up in the National Development Program with the kids, and he's pretty successful there, both as an assistant and as a head coach. Second interesting thing, he went to Ferris State and played college hockey. He was a goalie there. The most valuable prospect you are going to have in Rochester this season and maybe next season, Pekka Luukkonen. He is your guy. MVP of the OHL 2 seasons ago. Got time in the E and time in the A last season. He's waiting to make his Sabres debut. That's going to happen. The third most interesting thing is I've been talking to a couple of guys this week who are familiar with him. And it seems that this head coach is a big fan of the hard-nosed, gritty players. Not so much the fighters, but the guys that are going to go in the corner and take a shot to make a play. Guys that are going to stand in front of the net, don't mind taking a stick in the face. That is something that the Sabres have been lacking for a very long time. Like, you look at the Sabres' top 6, with the exception of Jack Eichel, and that's not the guy who should be doing it. I can't think of another player that I have witnessed in the last 2 seasons go into a corner and win a battle and sacrifice his body to do it. They want development, like Tariq said. It looks like they want a little more grit, and they need their goalie to succeed. He checks all these boxes on paper, but, I mean, he's also a guy that's kind of anonymous. Unless you're a deep hockey person, you've never heard of the guy before. See what happens over the next couple of seasons?
Yeah, Tariq, I got a couple of things. Going back to your word, development for especially the Rochester Amerks is like a buzzword for like, we're not going to win. You never hear him when they're bringing up the word development constantly. It says, "Hey, don't expect too much." Second thing is here, I think and we all like Chris Taylor, who's one of our guys. I think there's a real trust issue. The Pagulas have been cutting payroll. They didn't give the Amerks a general manager. They're hiring this guy. They're saying we're not going to do real well. I don't think Amerks fans are going to warm up to this guy unless he accomplishes something quickly.
He said that it's a healthy pressure. He mentioned healthy pressure, recruiting in Western New York, all the things that he accomplished in Denver to the RPI and everything that he's done. I just know full well, because you're going from a winning coach who's won the last 3 seasons to a sort of a coach that Duffy even said before, we really don't know that much about. You go in hoping for the best, but understanding this might be a long project for the Sabres to rebuild their franchise, which I have to say has to be done.
It's not just the Sabres. The overwhelming majority of the AHL are going to rely on young players that they're developing to get better. Every once in a while, you have their teams like the Toronto Marlies that have deep pockets, that have no problem paying guys that have been around for a while. But I think this idea of keeping veterans around to teach young players to win and be professionals is going away. And to be honest with you, it might not be a bad idea based on what we've seen in Rochester the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, it's certainly an inexact science.